All right, so let's go through this real quick here. All right, so this is mesocycle 3, and we'll just go section by section. I just made some things green here to talk about. So we have the mobility standard. Now ladders, I'll have another ladder set up for you, but if you have ladders that you like to do, so I think in each one there was 3 different um, ladder variations in terms of exercises. So if you have your own ladders that you like to do, by all means. So I put here, do on your own if you want. Generally, what I like to do with ladders is make sure I try to have a crossover kind of thing, where I have to cross one leg in front of the other. So that's usually a good idea. And then I have a front to back kind of thing. And then sometimes there's like kind of like a jump and twist kind of thing. So if you can just try to keep with those themes, just look at the other themes and you'll be fine. But if you got your own, that's fine. It's a good warm up. It's good for your feet. I want it to be enjoyable, and it's getting to the last mesocycle. So feel free to use your own ladder drills if you want. Adductor hold. So this will be one of the harder movements you're going to do when you come in the fall. So I put it back in so you can practice, right? So practice, practice, practice. These are usually the hardest movements athletes have when they start training with me back at Olds. So really practice it, really work up to 30 seconds on each leg. That's a really good place to be. I did it the other day. I got there. So that was about 6 weeks since we've been back. So I was pretty happy with that. I think I was at like 15 seconds when I started after the COVID break. So it comes quick. If you're doing the whole program, if you've been following all the programs, you should be coming along with that. And dynamic movement's going to be just the same. Okay, so the biggest theme with this program is power. So here's where we're going to jump higher, we're going to accelerate faster, we're going to increase velocity, these kind of things. We've been building up to this phase here. So we have sprinting, we have 10 meter and we have 40 meters. So you're going to notice the sprinting is now going up to 40 to 50 meters. The biggest thing to pay attention to are these numbers here. So you can see on neural 1, you're resting, or this exercise will take 18 minutes. And I'll tell you what, most of that time, so probably about 15 minutes of that will be resting. So right down here, you can see how much rest time is in this program. 24 minutes of you just kind of looking at your stopwatch. All right, so there is a lot of rest. And the reason there's a lot of rest is because when you train power, you have to let your nervous system rest. That's the biggest mistake people make, is they do explosion after explosion and the nervous system doesn't rest and is not training that system. All right, so just really follow in the last video I put on YouTube. It talks about rest between sets and rest between exercises. So take the 2 minutes. Now it's 2 minutes between sprints. So you're going to sprint. Your sprint's going to be like a second, 2 seconds, something like that, 3 seconds. And then you're going to rest for 2 minutes, right? So you're just going to feel like you're not doing anything. Trust me, it works. Okay, so make sure you follow the resting. Okay, so that's like my biggest message for you all. And if you see in mesocycle 2, the sprinting is going to take you 32 minutes. So probably like 20 minutes of that is resting, right? So you see what I'm saying? It's going to be, that's why I put the resting numbers in there. There's a lot of resting just so you can see it. And I want to talk to you about it and show you it. Okay, so that's very important, is just make sure you're taking the time for resting. Still doing the sumo deadlifts. If you want to do regular deadlifts, you can. That's fine too. There's an exercise called a crossover box step up. So now we're getting into a bit of knee stuff. So if you're doing by knee stuff, what I mean is we're starting to cross one leg in front of the other. So knees can start twisting a little bit, and knees shouldn't twist. So we should work from our feet and from our hips. So on these, I talk about in the video how to do them correctly. Again, with this one, if you're having any knee pain at all, contact me. If you have a physiotherapist, contact your physiotherapist, talk to a trainer in your gym. Hey, am I doing this right? Usually it's just a little fix and it goes away. So just with the crossover box step up, it's a really good exercise, but just be aware of that, okay? Wide grip pull down. So one of the tests that a lot of the athletes like to do well on is a chin up test. So this one is really important to help you get those chin ups. So really start doing the wide grip pull downs. Have the weight on there. 5 or 6 should be really hard. So that one's designed to work the back side of the shoulder, called your rotator cuff, and to help really boost that, maybe get you one more chin up or pull up on your test in the fall. Okay. Everything else is status quo. Bird dog rows are now done with a bar. So you can either use the long bars, those 45-pound bars, or most gyms have like 10 to 50-pound bars with like weights on the end, that kind of thing. You can use an easy bar. That's like the bar with like notches in it that people use to curl. So just find some kind of bar in your gym. And the nice thing with the bar on the bird dog rows is it makes you very makes you more unstable. So you have to really control the core more. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the bar. Um, so give it a shot. You should have a good time with that one. That should keep you busy. So again, sprinting for Neural 2, same thing. We're getting as high as 50. So I try to really mix it up, 10 meters, 30, 50. Every week, there's going to be a different number of each one. As the weeks go on, a little bit more focus on the more distance kind of thing. The reason we go 50 is because soccer is the sport that sprints the furthest, and they don't go any further than 50 meters in a single sprint. So that's why we pick 50. So we hit them. If you don't sprint 50 meters in your sport, that's fine. It will develop other qualities as well. That's the modelis. We have front squats in there. Now, if you have a hard time doing front squats, talk with your gym. If you have trainers at your gym, they could get, like, you can use bands, not bands, you can use like straps and stuff like that. Some people just have a hard time with the shoulder mobility. So just start slow. If you're really struggling with it, send me an email and I'll have a chat with you and we can maybe find an alternative. I really like them. If people can do them, start really light, like just do a bar, like just start with the bar. That's generally what we do in the fall. They're very good for shoulder mobility and they're very good for like back and quads. All right. So it's a very good movement. Again, if you're having a hard time, it can be a little intimidating. Just talk with a trainer, or if you have a friend that's experienced with lifting, sometimes they can give you just a few cues and that kind of thing and help you with that. So again, if you're having any issues with the front squat, just let me know. Okay, we have hamstring sliders and Nordic curls. So we're sticking with the Nordic curls. So I think, what did I say here? So I kind of left it up to you here on which ones you want to do. Obviously, the Nordic curls are far superior. Hamstring sliders are very good. I guess if you can't do Nordic curls, you can do the sliders, but the Nordic curls are very good. I'm doing them now. I really enjoy them. They're very good for your hamstring. Again, so you can decide which one you want to do. You could do 1 week of Nordic curls, 1 week of hamstring sliders. It's up to you. Goblet squats, single leg squat, that's right there, a split squat. Landmine curl press. So this will be in the video for sure. This is probably the hardest exercise to accomplish out of all of these. You'll see how it's set up. So essentially what you do, a landmine is when the long bar is attached to the ground and then you can move the bar around. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to curl it and you're going to twist and you're going to push the bar. So a lot of people sometimes have a hard time curling the bar. All right. So you don't really need to curl it. You'll see in the video what I'm talking about. You can kind of already just like pick it up and hold it here, and then you can press and push. Now, if you can't press and push and that's too hard, you got two options. Option one is you can find a lighter bar. So some bars, some gyms have these like 15, 20 pound long bars. They're all wrapped in rubber. We have them at Olds. So you could use those. Another good technique too is like taking the bar up and then just slowly lowering it. So you can do that as well. So I can take the bar, I can push it up with two hands, hold it with one hand, and slowly lower it into my body. And you'll see what I mean with the video. That'll make sense when you watch the video. It's called an eccentric, so you can do that. Again, if you don't do this exercise, I'm not super worried about it. It's just a really good exercise. If you have been following the program verbatim to now, you should be able to do the exercise. So that's about it with that one. That's the only one that might be a little bit tough for some people. It's a lot of smaller muscles that we don't use. That's why I like it, because once you can do it, it's a, it shows that you're getting pretty strong. Okay. And I did put notes over here. For jumping, so this stuff here, so we're getting into continuous stuff. And by all means, if you have a question as I'm going on here, please ask. It gets a little hard for me, maybe it's just me, but it gets hard for me to talk about reps when we start jumping continuous just because there's so many different angles. So what I did is I put over here, so 8 hops per set. Oh, sorry, 8 hops per foot per set. And I said that down here too. So I kind of put in notes how many reps you're doing. So we have the 2-foot hop, 2 hop up and hop off. All right, that one will be pretty straightforward from the video. 1 leg drop. So a lot of these now, what you're doing is you're dropping off of something and you're learning to explode in a direction. Okay. Now, when you're hopping off something, it's like 6 inches is usually really good. And I say that right here. Don't go too high. So the biggest mistake is if like you go a foot, so that's like a foot, right? That's about a foot. That's 6 inches. You don't want to go very high. Biggest mistake people make is they go way too high. So just start with 6 inches because we're just trying to get, so remember when you squat, you're squatting like 2 to 3 times your body weight. So when you land on the ground, so I'm a 200-pound athlete. When I land on the ground, that's 600 pounds, right? So just remember that when you land from something, it is 2 to 3 times your body weight. Okay, so that's a lot of weight. And the higher you go up, the more that happens. All right. So just start with 6 inches, right? Really low, because we're just trying to get that change of direction. That will be good. In this, it asks to use hurdles. If you don't have hurdles, you can use whatever you like. Just make sure it's not something that if you land on, right, it's going to roll or that kind of thing. So just ask your trainers in your gym if they have hurdles or if you can borrow something. I'm trying to think of something that would be good. Like paper towel rolls would be good, or even if, something, not paper towel, but just like that cardboard roll or something, just something where you've got to jump over it. If you have hurdles that give you height, that's even better, but you just want something that you're trying to jump over. All right, so that's important. Landmine hop, so now you're actually going to be hopping with weight, so it's a weighted hop. Okay, so when you do these, you want to use a very light weight. So I made a note over here. Oh, my note got deleted. I did make a note, but I said to use between 10 and 30 pounds, and I'll make sure that gets added in again. So use probably 10 to 30 pounds is good. All right. If you're squatting 300 pounds, maybe you're using the 30. If you're squatting, 150 pounds, maybe you're doing the 10, right? So if you're a very heavy squatter, like if you can split squat 90 pounds, maybe you're doing 30. Okay, if you can split squat 30 pounds, 25 pounds, then you're definitely using 5 or 10. Okay, so that's how you can kind of gauge where you're at with that. But just start really light, right? Because remember, every time you land, that's 2 to 3 times your body weight, and then you're adding 10 pounds onto that. So even just using the landmine, the bar to start would be good. So basically with that landmine hops, just take it slow. But it's nice to add a little bit of weight in there. It gives you a little bit different neurological response. Okay. The only one that's going to be a little bit maybe confusing if you haven't worked with me yet is this one, because this one basically you start 45 degrees. So this is 45 degrees, this is 180, this is straight. Okay, or so it's 90, 45 degrees. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 1 foot, right? And you're going to go 1 hop, 45 degrees, another hop, 45 degrees, and then you're going to go forward. So on my right foot, I can go to the right. And then on my right foot, I can go to my left. So that's called a lateral, and that's called a medial. Okay. Don't worry too much about it. So one set would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the right. And then I got to do it on my left. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's why I say there are 12 hops medially and laterally right here. Hopefully that's not the way it says. Right here, you can see it says medial and laterally, left and right foot equals 12 hops, right? So that's one set. Okay, so again, if that's confusing, don't worry about it too much. Just make sure when you're on your right foot, right, you're doing it 6 times, and when you're on your left foot, you're doing it 6 times. All right, and again, you watch the video, it should make sense. That'll be the most confusing one if you don't really know our terminology with medial and lateral. Shouldn't be a problem. Again, if that one is confusing, it should be fine. I tried to make notes over here for the reps with this one. All right, perfect. And with the plyo, every time you do amortization, so every time you produce force to jump, that's like that's one hop, right? So if I'm landing off of something and then I'm jumping, that's one hop. It's not 1, 2, it's 1, right? So I'm landing and then I'm jumping, so that's one hop, if that makes sense, right? Again, if you get that mixed up, it's okay too. It's not a big deal. In the general section here, it's pretty straightforward stuff. We have some plate carries. These are really fun. When you're doing the plate carries, I really like to use the colored plates. I find they are the best because they don't have anything to grip onto and it makes them very hard. So when you're doing plate carries, try to use they're called bumper plates. You want to pinch it, right? So a lot of plates have like handles on them. The other plates, they have like grips and handles. So you want to pinch it. So I want to hold it like that. So it's going to improve your grip strength. You'll see in the video. We have an exercise called a grasshopper. This one is very tough, probably the second hardest exercise. You'll see in the video how it works. It's on a Swiss ball. Now, if you can just take your knee off the Swiss ball and cross it across your body, that's pretty good. All right, you're gonna see in the video, I'm gonna stick my leg all the way out straight. If you can't get there, that's okay too. All right, but if you could just kind of take your knee off and cross your knee across your body, you're basically hand planked and your feet are up on a Swiss ball with your face facing the ground, and you got to take your leg off and swing it under your body. So you'll see on the video, it's a lot of fun. Just enjoy that exercise and just really try to get your knee across your body. ISOs will be pretty straightforward. The kettlebell shoulder press. So on the video, I just wanted to go over, it was very hard for me to explain how to rotate the pinky. So with the shoulder press, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna hold a weight here. And as you go up, you turn the pinky towards your face. So as I go up, I turn that to my face. And what that does is it puts your shoulder in the socket. Okay, it kind of pulls that shoulder into the socket. So as I go up, I want to rotate the pinky. That was the best way I could think of it. Here's my face. I rotate it towards my face. Okay, that's very important. Turkish get-ups are going to be in here. Now with Turkish get-ups, it's basically a movement that you start from the ground and you've got to stand up. It's very good for total body strength. Just start very light. And I'm going to say not to use a kettlebell. I'm going to say I can't remember what I did in the video, but when you do it with me one-on-one, like as a team, we're going to be using kettlebells. But for safety, possibly just use a dumbbell. If you've done Turkish get-ups with a kettlebell before, you get a little bit more benefit. You can do that, but maybe just do them with dumbbells. I did make a note on that. Again, I might have demoed as with a kettlebell in the video. That's the standard way, but use a dumbbell if you want. I just repeated that a lot just to get that across. All right. It is a pretty complicated movement. Do your best. If you're like, I don't get it, don't worry about it. All right, we will be learning them. Some people get them really quick and some people are like, this is crazy. So it's a lot of fun, but don't worry about it if you don't get it. The conditioning is basically the same. Strides and strides and shuttles. So that hasn't changed. If you need to see that, it's on the other videos. Oh, Sable's coming over to say hi. Swiss ball skaters, so that'll be a video for that. Don't use any weight for this one. We're getting into a lot of crossing the legs again, and when we get into crossing the legs, we cause rotation and knees could twist. So just no weight. Again, try your best. Some of the stuff in here is a little bit hard for balance. So I just want to challenge you a little bit because this is the stuff you'll be doing as soon as you get in with me pretty quickly. So I want you to just give it a shot and just become familiar with it. So with the Swiss ball skaters, please don't use any weight. Do your best. And I think that's about it. Everything else that I didn't talk about, I think is pretty straightforward in the videos. The notes will be the same at the end there. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Just remember the rest with the sprinting and with the plyometrics, right? Remember that rest period. That's very important right now. And do your best and have fun with it. And we'll be together in, I don't know, what is it, 6 weeks or so, and it shall be fun. Does anybody have, as I'm reading over stuff here really quick, does anybody have any questions about anything?
No, it seems good so far.
Everything seems good so far. Awesome. Perfect. Well, that's about it, everybody. So I hope the workouts are going well. I'm glad that you're enjoying them. And by all means, reach out to me anytime if you have any questions. That's about all I got. So if you don't have anything, I don't have anything. Sable and I will say goodbye. All right. So I'll see you guys later.
All right.